Hi, my name is Amira and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little review and swatches of the new Jeffree Star Androgyny palette. So I've reviewed a lot of Jeffree Star products and I've done an overall brand review. I've tried the liquid lipsticks, the other Beauty Killer palette, Skin Frost, some of the normal lipsticks and everything. So I had certain expectations for this palette. So let's jump in. Also, I am very sorry about the humming in the background. It's just really hot, and especially with two softboxes and a ring light, I'm like sweating. I've tried to put it so it's like pointing away, but the humming sound will still be there a little bit. I'm sorry. Okay, the palette. Now, the outer packet is maroon, and I was like, okay, and then you open up, it's hot pink, and I was like, okay, they don't really match, but I can forgive it. Open it up, and you've got this like old school decoration like around the mirror, but like it's a hot pink leopard, like snake skin on the front. So I don't know, I feel like that doesn't, whatever, Jeffree doesn't have to make sense, does he? We open it up, we have our colors. Now I love this side of the palette with the shimmering pale gold, neutral tone transition matte, warm transition matte, bronze sparkly goodness, dark matte brown. Those all flow to me and I'm happy with that. Now if we go over the other side, you're like, oh yeah, androgyny, okay, fetish, okay, like this is your matte, this is a slight shimmer, and then you're like, okay, khaki, dark greeny blue and blue. Like I feel like these colors are so similar, why do they both need to be in the palette? But whatever, Jeffree can put whatever colors he wants in, I don't care. If I cover up, even like I can make do with that one, but if I cover up those bottom ones, like I feel like the palette makes more sense. So let's talk about quality. So with the Beauty Killer palette, I just didn't like it. I found the colors weren't very pigmented and you couldn't apply them very well. This palette, however, is very different. The shimmers are super beautiful, and like in reality, this is like a subtle shimmer, but Frosting and Deja Vu are like the only real shimmers. But yeah, you can see those are super pigmented, like much better than the Beauty Killer palette. The mattes all blend beautifully onto my skin. They perform well, they last well, they look good. Of course, you've got your nice big pan sizes, which is really good value. But yeah, like anyone who knows who Jeffree Star is probably going to be a bit like me and just like a beauty hoarder. So do we really need pans this big? Like I never hit pan on anything anymore because I just like collect so much and I use something for ages and then I get something new and I use that for ages, and then occasionally I'll jump back and use some of my old things because I'm like, oh my god, I used to love this. So like I just don't see myself ever needing a palette this big. It's kind of like the Skin Frost. I personally would have rather them being a bit cheaper and a little bit smaller, but maybe Jeffree's trying to compensate for something. I don't know. Why are you gonna make everything so big? I'll have with some swatches and then we can talk a little bit more about the palette. So we have Frosting, Safe Word, Charm, Deja Vu, and Dominatrix. I really love the top row of this palette. The second row we've got Androgyny, Fetish, Military, Poison, and Swallow. Ew. So when you take away the top row and you look at the bottom row by itself, it surprisingly goes well together. I don't really know how, but I do find the colors still to be quite unwearable because they are all matte. Except for Fetish, it has a slight satin kind of finish. It's nowhere near as metallic as Frosting and Deja Vu from the top row, but it is very, yeah, it's nearly a matte. Like it's basically a matte. Once you blend it out, it's gonna be a matte. I feel like if any of those bottom three green blues, if even one of them was shimmer, probably I think even if two, maybe Military and Poison or Military and Swallow or something, like if they were shimmery, it would make it a lot more wearable because I don't know, I just don't know how I would personally put those colors together. Probably I'm not quite bold enough. Like my makeup today, I've got like glitter, and that's a lot for me. So maybe it's just me. I guess, you know, it just depends with personal preference really. I do feel like having two proper shimmers in the palette is not quite enough for me personally, and I do know a lot of people do like to have you know, work with a lot of mattes and then have some pops of shimmers. I do think that a palette should be pretty equal in the balance. I mean, unless it's an all shimmer palette or an all matte palette, I think that it should be quite balanced in its shimmers and mattes. So I think that this being 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, having only 2 shimmer shades is pretty poor. I think it should have at least 4 shimmer shades. Again, it is my personal preference. I like to have a palette balanced, and I know a lot of other people do as well. If you look at the quality, they are really beautiful. That whole top row, this palette is super wearable. Blending Androgyny, blending Fetish gives it that modern Renaissance feel. This Deja Vu color, I just love it. Like, I think these colors are actually really gorgeous. I don't care for the last 3, but to me, it's not a big deal because I will actually wear these other shades a lot. They are very, very beautiful. Like, when I thought I really wanted this palette when I first saw the sneak peeks, and then when I saw the whole thing, I was like, ugh. And then I decided to watch Jeffree's video revealing the palette, and he swatched them, and I was just like, okay girl, give me the palette. Like, I've changed my mind. I take it back. It looks like much better quality than the Beauty Killer palette. I find that people use buttery too often to describe eyeshadows and makeup in general. I feel like they're like, it's just their go-to word. Like, if they think it's good, they say it's buttery. But for reals, guys, these 2 shimmers, Frosting, Deja Vu, they are buttery. They are buttery. They are beautiful. The other colors blend well, work well. They're a little bit, maybe a little bit dry, kick up a little bit when you put your brush in, but like nothing more than normal in my opinion. So do I think that this palette is worth it? If you think you're going to use at least half the shades in there, which I am, I'm going to use definitely at least half the shades, then yeah, it's definitely worth it for me. Most of the colors are probably pretty dupeable, to be honest. That Deja Vu shade is my favorite. I don't have much like that in my collection, but I would say it's probably pretty dupeable. So if you want to see me do some dupes, I'll go through my collection and find dupes for all of these. I mean, I don't really have many of these kind of shades, but I can probably still find you dupes for them because I'm confident in myself. But yeah, let me know what you think below because I'm really interested to know your opinions on this palette. I like it. I think it's much, much better quality. Again, I would like to see a bit of variety with the shades, but oh well. Jeffree's gonna do what Jeffree's gonna do, so that's what I think. As I said, let me know below what you think. Don't forget to thumbs up the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys all next time.